Hey, what's up everybody, lifewithoutpants here with another video, and in today's video we're going to go over the recent Crucible announcement and reveal. There's going to be time links in the doobly-doo down below, so we're going to go over the Crucible, the league mechanic, we're going to go look at the patch notes, my league start plans, and some miscellaneous thoughts. So let's start off with Crucible. It looks pretty spicy. It reminded me a little bit of Ultimatum in the way that you interact with it. So you, if you got any, so you just find this Crucible Forge in your maps, and I believe this is the beach or the coast area. So this is Zone 2. This is a Driftwood one for sure. So I think you're going to find this immediately as soon as you leave Lioneye's Watch, and you basically run inside this big circle. You click and hold this, and then it's going to spawn monsters, and you click and hold it until you think, oh, this is how much I can deal with, and then you're going to defeat the monsters, and then it's going to give you a Crucible passive tree on your weapon. Now, you can only use it on weapons that you either have equipped or in your offhand. I mean, both equipped. And then once you've got that, then it's going to look a little bit like this. So it's just going to be a standard passive tree. We're all going to be dendrologists this league again. There's a lot of juicy nodes on these. It can go up to 5 in total. And you can do it on, like I said, whichever weapon you have equipped. So I think there's going to be a lot of offhand shenanigans with this. I think we're going to be switching things out a lot into our offhands. The first time you do it, you will be doing it to unlock the actual passive tree on the weapon. Let's have a look at another one here. Oh, so this is just somebody fighting all the monsters, but it looks like we've had the Eldritch Implicits on armor and like body armor, boots, helmet, gloves, that kind of thing, and weapons have been long sort of like a little maligned. So this seems like a way to add a bunch of power to weapons, and it's shields as well. Not quivers, though, because quivers are, bows are two-handed, so they're balanced along two-handed rules, and quivers are not part of that. So if you're using a shield, you're using a one-handed weapon anyway. So it seems like it's balanced pretty well. This is what they can look like. So, you get some, this is just a very small one, 6% increased strength and intelligence. Some of these are going to be really, really good for some strength or, for some stat stackers. Some of them have, downsides. So minions take 15% increased damage, but minions have increased attack and cast speed. Some of them are, I think, item sells for an additional unique siege axe. And I think that's Soul Taker. So that's a really, really good buff on some of these things. You can get some really, really decent notables on these. I think one of them is this this is a chance to gain Soul Eater for 20 seconds on Killing Blow against rare and unique enemies with Double Strike or Dual Strike. I don't know if this is going to make people want to play melee, maybe. Giving people Headhunter buffs for doing it. I think there's a skill gem that gives you, is it Behead support, I think, that gives you Soul Eater or Headhunter-like properties. I don't know if people are using that too much. But this seems like a really, really good way to add in a bunch of power to weapons. This is going to be I think, a bow attack league. I think bow league, finally. There's a lot of really, really good stuff here. Movement speed if dexterity is below 100. So really good for Omni builds. There's quite a few things that are really, really good for Omni builds here as well. And there's a few notables as well that were quite interesting. I think there was sometimes it will have something that, lesser multiple projectiles, level 10 support. So you can get, I don't know how many of these gems you'll be able to get in one of these, but if there's 2, then you could get an 8 link. It's pretty spicy. There's going to be a lot of power added to weapons, I think. Obviously, if you're playing Poison's Concoction, you get nothing. Which, you get some stuff on the shield, maybe. But yeah, that's a bit of a downer. If you're playing Consecrated Path, you get 100% nothing. In fact, it's just nerfs if you're playing Consecrated Path. So sad for those people. But yeah, you can get notables from the tree, like Master Fletcher. I think it gives you +1 arrows or +1 proj. Flat damage as well. Fizz damage converted to chaos can be very, very interesting. And again, here's one of the ones which is less good, or it's got a downside at least. So you got plus 1.5 crit strike chance and reduced attack speed. It's going to be super interesting to see all this power just dumped on weapons. And yeah, Bow League, maybe? It seems like that. You'll be able to do this a few times. So I think it's depth of 5 is the most depth I've seen here. I saw one of them, I think maybe it was in the patch notes or something. Or maybe it was here. I got this, this is a picture from Reddit, I think it was a Reddit thread. I'm going to put a link to this down in the, oh yeah, no, it says over here, Reddit. This is just the ones that were shown in the reveal, so somebody has just, copy pasted them out. But one of them was vendors for, item sells for an additional divine orb. Look at this one, item sells for additional divine orb. So there's going to be some money in this as well. There's going to be the possibility to be able to, get a bunch of extra cash. So you're going to be always wanting to do this league mechanic because you'll be able to get your divine orbs, or probably going to be like a stack of 10 chaos orbs or something like that. It's looking pretty good. There's going to be, like I said, a lot of power added in, and this is just the regular sort of campaign and mapping part of it. There's going to be the end game section of it, so you get these little maps essentially. So it contains the Forge of the Titans, and this means you can combine 2 weapons together of the same base type, so it has to be exactly the same base type, and it will melt their passive trees together, a little bit like Recombinators worked, and that's going to mean that, and there's a few like weighting things there as well, so if you had, say you had the Divine Orb one allocated, then it's more likely to show up in the new jumbled up one. So that looks pretty good. There's been a lot, the patch notes are here, I'll have a link to those as well, and there's a lot of stuff in the patch notes, so I'm just going to go through them very briefly. Oh, also, by the way, I should mention for Crucible, you can't do this on unique weapons until you can. So you can only unlock the Crucible tree on unique weapons from these primeval remnants. And it's only, you can see here, contains an extra forge that can add a Crucible passive skill tree to a unique item. So these primeval remnants, they come from, I think they're geodes or something they're called. You right click on the geode, it opens and it turns into this primeval remnant, and some of them have the mod contains an extra forge that can add a Crucible passive tree to a unique item. And that means that you won't, if you find a life sprig in Act 1, you probably won't be able to add a passive tree to it until much later on. These are used in a personal map device, so you won't be able to do this during the campaign for sure. And that means that unique weapons with good skill trees are going to be pretty expensive. My league start plans currently include the Obliteration Wand, and I really want to see what it's going to be like to have one of these on there. That seems like it's going to be fantastic fun. But then there's also the super upgraded version of the Primeval Remnant allows you to merge unique weapons together as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see. So for the patch notes overview, they have changed a few things. They've revamped Breach and Abyss. And the way I read this was, well, there's a few things. So Charge, Enrich, and Pure Breach Stones have been just flat removed. And if you have a Pure Breach Stone, it's going to be converted to a regular one. So your Pure Chayula Breach Stones are going to be regular Chayula Breach Stones. They're just going to wipe out a lot of value from the economy, which is a shame. But they're going to only have regular Breach Stones and the Flawless ones. And that's it. I think that's quite interesting. Obviously, they're going to make blessings a lot more rare. I think they said they removed a bunch of XP from the breach monsters as well. So maybe breach is going to be a little bit underwhelming. They have increased the monster density significantly, and they've increased the speed at which breaches open and close by default. But that means that they nerfed it on Flash Breach and a few of the other places around. Basically, it looks like it could be really, really good, or Breach is going to feel even worse. And the regular level of Breach Stones is now, I think, like the base level of Breach Stones previously was 70, now it's 81. So maybe running Breach Stones is actually going to feel a lot better, and Breach in maps is going to feel. They said they wanted it, on the side of feeling overwhelmed, and I'm all for that. I think I'm gonna give Breach a try. They have nerfed a bunch of other things though. So It That Fled's Betrayal Research Safe House, which I farmed all the time to turn regular cellular Breach Stones into pure ones, that has been changed into map device crafting options that can be used on Breach Stones. So maybe there's going to be a little cottage industry showing up on TFT where you somebody gives you a cellular Breach Stone and you open it in your map device, which has your map device crafting option on it because you have run It That Fled in research. Or maybe that's not going to happen at all and it's going to be terrible. And that's just going to be essentially removed from the game. It's a bit of a shame. The enchanted map modifier for defeating It That Fled on fortification duty and masterminds there now has map contains 4 additional breaches, previously 5, so that's been reduced by 20%. It's taken a little bit of a haircut. Also, breach splinters drop way less often. Breach stones drop way less often. It seems like they buffed a lot of the breach uniques, so those could be quite interesting. I don't know how often we're going to be able to get Skin of the Lords or Skin of the Loyal now. Those are going to be, I think, a bit more rare. They also nerfed the Scarabs a lot as well. So this has Breach Scarabs contain an additional breach for the regular one. But then Gilded has 1 additional breach. Cause breaches in areas contain additional breaches boss's clasped hand. And breaches an area to drop double breach splinters. So that's not that great, really, is it? I mean, if we go and have a quick look in our fragments tab here, the current breach thing is like the gilded one gives you 3 additional breaches. And I think the winged one gives you 5. And this is now just a single breach with some... It's going more the way of the expedition stuff. And I don't know if I like that or not. Because a regular expedition, Russ's Scarab just gives you 1 additional expedition. And then these give you, the slightly better expeditions. Maybe that's really good. It's going to be difficult to tell, I think, until we've played it. So the uniques, they largely got buffed. It seems like I read through I think most of them, and I think the Red Dream actually seems interesting now, which is I think those are the Zoff boots, I believe. I can't even find them now. Oh, the Infinite Pursuit boots rather. They have the Red Trail. Excuse me. The Red Trail boots, they no longer have a 15% increased movement speed while bleeding. They just have a flat 30% increased move speed, which is nice. And they have more increased armor and 60 to 100 max life instead of 60 to 70. So these Red Trail unique boots, these could be really good. We'll have to see what happens with Breach. Abyss has changed as well. It's got another rework, and this is... Abyssal Depths always contain a Lich. I think this is the biggest change, really, for most people. GGG said that people would, as soon as an Abyssal Depth spawned, people will go in, check the loading screen. If it's red, then they know there's a Lich there, because that's what that means. And then if it's not, then they would just leave. And that wasn't behavior that I was displaying, but they have the stats, so they know if, they can figure out if people are just doing that all the time. But you can get Stygian Spires to spawn in the place of Abyssal Troves at the end of an Abyss, which means that I think there's going to be way quicker access to Stygian Vices. and a lot of Abyss jewels. I'm not really planning on running Abyss, to be honest. There's been a few changes to Abyss. I think the one I liked most was the belt. I can't remember what the belt is called. Is it Darkness Enthroned? Yeah, Darkness Enthroned unique belt now has 50 to 100% increased effect of socketed Abyss jewels, previously 75%. So you could get some really, really, really juicy Abyss jewels in your Darkness Enthroned with 100% increased effect, and that seems really nice. I'm all for that. They did the same. They gave the Abyss Scarabs the same treatment as the Breach Scarabs, so they got a heavy nerf for the number of Abysses available. Which is a bit of a shame. When it comes to the rest of the patch notes, there's a lot of nerfs. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of nerfs. There's a lot of changes. I think we could... a lot of them come from the mastery nerfs, or sorry, mastery... removed masteries. So there's all these things have been removed from the game. You may notice in elemental masteries, 15% plus 15% all elemental resistances. That's just super useful. Grace has 25% increased mana reservation efficiency. They removed all of the aura specific mana reservation efficiencies, which is a bit difficult for a lot of builds. They did add in the 12% mana reservation efficiency of skills that they took out because apparently too many people were taking it, so now everybody's going to take it again. They took out the fire mastery as well, 20% fire dot multi and minus 30 fire res. Overall, the things that they said they basically workshopped what should be the energy shield masteries or what should be the impale masteries, and they came up with a list of them, and then ignoring what was in them already, and then they chucked in the ones that were in already into the mix, and then they chose the 6 best, and those are the ones in the game now. I'm not sure that's exactly what they did, but because some of them that were really, really good have really, really been removed. So it seems like, I think, like the 17% chaos res, that wasn't the best one, and like +1 chaos damage over time, multi per 4% chaos resistance wasn't good. X to doubt. They have removed quite a lot. This is where I think most of the nerfs come from. There has been a lot of numerical nerfs to a lot of other things as well, though. So have a look in the patch notes. I'll link those obviously down below. So reservation masteries. There's only one new reservation mastery, but these are the only reservation masteries now. So spell suppression masteries. There is only one remaining spell suppression mastery from the previous patches. So that's a bit difficult. The life mastery, I think, was there's only one remaining from the life one. So if you had the 10% increased max life and 10% reduced recovery rate, that's gone. If you had regenerate 2% life per whilst moving, that's gone. You only have the +50 to maximum life. I thought when I was reading this that they basically removed everything that was just like a defense, like, oh, you get like 30 fire res, or something that was just pure power, so you get 20 fire dot multi or something like that. It's not entirely true, and that's just my assessment of it, but there's a few interesting things in here. So skills cost life instead of 30% of mana cost could be interesting. You count as on full life while at 90% of maximum life or above, so this gives you a little bit of leeway when if you're doing damage on full life or something like that. The low life 55% of maximum or below is also pretty decent. There's a lot to pass here, and I have checked on my build, and I think I lost. I went from like 5.7 million DPS to 5.2, so not too bad. It honestly is not too bad, and my gear wasn't like uber amazing. And I actually went from 3.1k life to 3.2.5, so that was nice. but at what cost? And the reason for that is 15% increased maximum life if there are no life modifiers on equipped body armor. So 15% increased maximum life. That's tabula rasa. That's skin of the Lord, skin of the loyal. They don't have life modifiers, and that doesn't mean like flat life, like an Essence of Greed would give you. That means like life regen. Anything with the tag life is a life modifier on your equipped body armor. So that's going to be quite interesting. A lot of nerfs. I gotta say, a lot of nerfs. They said it wasn't going to be a nerf fest, and well, I disagree. There were a lot of changes to early game as well. So the leveling. There's a few things, a few extra things given out in Act 1. There's some skill balance stuff, and these are largely nerfs as well. So Poison Spark, they got hit. Onslaught gone. Not Onslaught the buff, which still remains, but Onslaught support is removed from the game. So no Muling Scion anymore to level your spellcaster. So you're going to save at least 1.5 minutes there. Amazing. The wand recipe for casters also gone. So you're not going to have to level a caster either, because you're not going to be able to use the wand recipe. So that's a little difficult. The wand recipe was really, really good. You could use it at level 8, level 14, and level 20. And you could just craft flat damage onto your wands using, if you had a magic wand, a resistance ring like a topaz ring or a ruby ring, and an orb of alteration, you could vendor it, and depending on the rarity of the ring, it would give you either level 8, level 14, or level 20 gated damage. Now, so this means that it's more difficult to level spellcasters. Or rather, they said, people aren't changing their weapons throughout the whole campaign, and that's a problem. Because you should. Weapons crafted this recipe in the first few acts were powerful enough sources of damage to not need to be replaced until players reach even the final few acts of the campaign, which is not ideal. So what they're doing is they're just removing that, and then they're adding flat damage to a few types of wands, not all of them, but I think it's like maybe 50% of the wands, I think, are getting flat damage. So instead of increased spell damage, so this is still a nerf, instead of increased spell damage on these wands, you'll get flat damage. Obviously, if you're doing, so if you want a lot of cold damage to spell, then you're going to want to stick with quartz wands until you get crystal wands. And, same for Fawn's wand. If you want fire damage to spells, flat fire, then you're going to want to stick with a Fawn wand until you get a demon wand. This is a little bit difficult. Obliteration and a few other unique wands have changed base type as a result, because the base type that they're going to be on will always have the increased spell damage. As far as I've seen. So I think, all of these ones here, or all of these new ones that they're on, they are not ones with flat damage, as far as I can see. So they always have the increased spell damage. This is going to be difficult. I feel really bad for Tai, because he has to rewrite every single build leveling guide that he has ever done. Oof. And in line with GGG loving that you love leveling so much, they're nerfing scepters as well, so leap slam. So there was really, really good leap slam tech where you would, if you're a spellcaster, so the way I level a spellcaster is I look out for scepters along the in Act 1, 2, and 3. As soon as I get them in a level 20, I craft flat fire, flat cold, flat lightning, whatever on them. And then I would use the Leap Slam gem that you get from Siosa, or you can buy from Siosa in Act 3 in the library, and faster attacks, which you can get in Act 2. And then I would use those two to Leap Slam and then Frostblink. And it really, really increases the speed with which you can go through the campaign. You can cut an hour off it easy with just that tech. And GGG just want you to enjoy the campaign more. So they're nerfing the Scepter base attack speed so that Leap Slam will take less, because Leap Slam is an attack skill. So base attacks now 1.2, previously 1.55 on Driftwood Scepters, and it goes on. So Scepter's got a nerf. Yeah, they said it didn't make any sense that many early game Scepter bases had significantly faster attack speed than one-handed maces. And if it's meant to be a caster thing, then it doesn't matter, right? Unless you're trying to get rid of Leap Slam. So that was a bit of an annoying change to leveling. Pathfinder and Saboteur got reworks, and that looks really, really good. If we just go to the top here, I think, or maybe I actually I have some pictures somewhere around here. But if we just go straight to Saboteur, there's a lot of stuff here, and then there's a lot of Pathfinder stuff here. I think, hold on a sec, I'm just gonna cut, and I'll come up with pictures.
A few moments later.
Okay, here we are, and here's the Pathfinder, and I got the Saboteur here. They look really, really interesting. I think that I will definitely be making a Saboteur character this league. It's not going to be my league starter, but it's definitely going to be something I'm going to look into. Pathfinder, maybe not. Maybe we'll see what happens. So let's carry on with our review. There's like I said, Pathfinder looks interesting, but Saboteur looks super interesting. Infinite Heist is dead. That's gone. You can't do that anymore. It's completely removed. They changed I think it's the Book of Regression. Yeah, you can no longer create books of regression. Existing unused books of regression will be destroyed when 3.21 is deployed. So, Infinite Heist, completely gone. Completely removed from the game. This might reduce the amount of the cost of Divine Orbs at the beginning, because they tend to hyperinflate pretty quickly from people just running Heist a lot, or maybe not. Bow attacks fire an additional arrow. That's also that's removed. Well, it's not removed. It can no longer roll on bows and quivers, so that's a synthesis implicit, and it's like a haircut for mirror tier toxic tornado shock characters. It's probably not going to affect most people, to be perfectly honest. I think also vendor windows have changed their behavior as well, so they don't refresh every time you level up, or sorry, change level. Actually, that doesn't matter anymore because you can't create books of regression, so it's not change level, it's every time you level up. But they're not going to completely change. They're just going to remove the most recent, the oldest stuff in the vendor window is going to get removed, and they're going to put in a few more, a few new things. And you can also get rare items, so maybe that's going to be good, maybe not. The Atlas also. I got Poeplanner up here. Yeah, so the Atlas now has these Eldritch gateways. So these are like little wormholes here. So if you, let's say I didn't have any of these things, you can go to this Eldritch gateway here, and it connects to this one over here. So you have to spend a point, but if I wanted to, come and get Wrath of the Cosmos over here, or Word of the Exarch, then I don't have to spend all my points going, using all the travel nodes. I can just boop this one, and then I can come over here to Wrath of the Cosmos straight away, and it costs less points. So that's pretty good. There's one set here, there's one set here on the Cryptic Gateway on either side of this. And then I believe there's a third one. Yeah, there's the Mortal Gateway, so it connects from this side all the way over here. So if you want some bestiary stuff at the same time as you want your betrayal going on, then that's pretty. It's a nice improvement. I think it really helps to. It's gonna open up a lot of possibilities when it comes to farming stuff. This one, honestly, I probably will never use the Eldritch Gateway. Because if you're not taking these map modifier effect nodes, the top hat, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, it's crazy because this gives you 20% increased. I think it's 20% increased effect of modifiers on your non-unique maps, which is quantity and rarity, and all the good stuff. So this is 20% increased quantity and rarity. I don't think I'm ever going to want this to be, and it's not just quantity and rarity. It's all things on your map. So if you had, I don't know, 100% increased chance to drop a divine orb or something, then it's 120%. I struggle to think of an Atlas strat where I would not want to use this. I'm sure there are some. But for me, I think this one is pretty much dead on arrival, the Eldritch Gateway. I might actually use it to start. So like to start off the league. Because my, spoiler alert for my league launch plans is probably going to be Expedition. So I'm probably going to come over here and take this, and then I might, and I want to farm some Eldritch Altars as well because they just crap out currency. So this might be what it looks like to start off with. Obviously, we're going to take a Tujin for scratching up the ground. We're not going to take a Noble Quest because it still doesn't work. This node does not work. There's a bug report for this. It doesn't work. GGG did not fix it, so I'm not going to take it. So that's a little bit disappointing that they didn't fix it. But so this is what it's going to look like, I think, to start with. This is for our league launch plans, I think, because this is 95 points. And then, obviously, once I've used these 95 points up, then we can start adding these in. I think the first 100 points you get from just doing maps, and then the rest is from, Maven invites and doing the formed and the feared and the hidden and all that kind of stuff. So the first 100 points you get from just doing maps. Obviously, there's unique maps as well, which you get points for too. But if you just complete all the regular maps on the Atlas, you get 100 points. And this is 102. So this would require, it's probably not day one achievable, or maybe in the first 24 hours achievable. It's definitely achievable in the first 24 hours. But with 24-hour gear, I think it might be difficult. But this is what I'm going to be aiming for when it comes to our league launch map strategy. There's the Kirac league mods available. Oh, we've got Essence back finally. That's nice. Essence is really good. Ambush is really good. Abyss is really good if you're farming Abyss. Honestly, I don't think I will be. Heist is going to be, I think, is going to be really interesting this league. I'm just curious about it because also you got the two additional Smuggler's Caches, and this obviously stacks with if you have Sextants, if you're using passive Atlas tree nodes. Harvest is on there. Nice. An Expedition. I'm probably not going to be using one for 10C for an Expedition encounter. I struggle to see it being worth that because I think the Scarabs are going to be worth. The Scarabs are going to cost way less. This is going to be like an emergency thing. Like I can't buy any Scarabs. I'm not sure that I would use 10C on it though. It's a lot early on. So this, and you have to unlock this as well, so it's going to take a while. I think Fortune Favors the Brave is going to be pretty good because then you can get some Expedition stuff. I think that's going to be quite nice. So yeah, for our Atlas, that's our Atlas, probable Atlas starting skill tree. POB has not yet updated, but Poeplanner.com has. So this has got the wormholes on it. This has got the increase, and this is how you can tell. You could just go northeast of the Witch over here, next to Eldritch Battery. If there's this cluster here with two things, Winter's Embrace and Glacial Cage, then it's updated, and it's updated. And if I go to Poeplanner over here, PoE Path of Building, then it's not there. So that's how you know when it's updated. Or it's how I know when it's updated because that's exactly what I'm looking for. Like I said, my EK Ignite League starter that I'm thinking about doing, it's likely. That's gone from 5.7 to 5.2 million DPS with endgame gear and 3.1 to 3.2.5k life. There's a lot of defensive layers in that build, so I will have a build guide for that if I choose to run it. I'm looking at maybe Lightning Arrow, because there's some new Val skills, which is always great, and Val skills can what have we got here? So Lightning Arrow, it was already a decent league starter. Now you get Val Lightning Arrow, and why wouldn't you? It's got 4 additional arrows. So I'm thinking maybe Val Lightning Arrow, or just Lightning Arrow in general. I'm testing it out now, and if it's good, then I'll swap and I'll make a league start guide for that instead. If it's not, it's going to be EK league starter, and I'll make I've already got 90% of a very comprehensive build start guide for that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a long rambling one. Sorry about that, but I'm honestly, there are a lot of nerfs. I think it's going to change the meta quite significantly. I really hope, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to this league. Let me know down in the comments what you're going to be playing, what your league start is going to be. Maybe you're waiting for my build guide. Maybe not. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you have a great league start. I hope you're kind to everyone you meet. I love you all very much. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.